Stop applying to study in the UK. Start applying for jobs in the UK. I beg you. Make I hear word. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chinemerem. If you are stopping by for the very first time, hello, you are most welcome. Please do well to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And if you are a returning subscriber, you are amazing. Thank you for coming back today. So many people have taken their time to advise people against applying for study visas. And I'm like, okay. So, but the truth is, if anyone tells you that you should stop applying to study in the UK and start applying to only work in the UK, just tell the person, please, I hope you have a job for me to apply for that would grant me that tier 2 sponsorship as soon as possible. To be honest, this advice is not completely wrong. Of course, I know coming here on a work visa means you are a bit more balanced. You don't have too much going on in terms of finance. But let me ask you, how many people will the UK sponsor on a tier 2 visa? So if everybody, let's assume that those 30,000 students that came to the UK this year or so, they're all applying for a work visa. How many of them would have gotten a work visa in the space of time those 30,000 students got their visas? That's the question you will ask. Now, some of them have based their reason for this on the fact that any immigration rules or anything that will happen very soon may first of all affect students and not workers. But have you heard about the Windrush scandal? So there was a time the UK needed labor force. They went to Commonwealth countries and they brought people from their countries to the UK to work for them. That means they came here on a supposed work visa, right? They worked in different sectors, not just a particular sector. For those years, the UK borders were open, people were coming in. Most of them came here with their children, their husbands, you know, like you'd normally come now with your dependents. So around 2018, there was a Windrush scandal. The Windrush scandal saw thousands of those people that came to the UK deported back to their countries. The UK felt, well, the immigration, you know, of course, UK and the immigration rules, they can change rules any day, anytime. They change like their weather, you know. In 2018, even their great-grandchildren that don't even know where they were originally from, they were sent back. I saw a story about two brothers. They were like, we don't even know where we are from. Their parents are dead. I think they were sent back to Eritrea or some country that period. You know, it was not nice. And some of them that are still in the UK now, they were stopped from working. Some of them were also stopped from receiving free NHS treatment. That means that most of them now have been made redundant. Most of them cannot access some things that people access. Now, my point is, if you feel that coming here on a work visa is giving you a foolproof or a bulletproof over UK immigration rules and laws, then you'd have to think again. The Windrush scandal didn't affect only a sector. It didn't affect only students. Again, I ask, how many people will the UK sponsor on that tier 2 visa? How many? You think that those that live in their countries are only those in Africa? Indians are also living, and trust me, Indians have the qualifications. If you want qualifications, Indians have got it. If you want the mental capacity, Indians have got it. If you want the skills, Indians have got it as well. People in China are also applying for these jobs. And trust me, China is a top world country, even though they are calling them developing countries. But China is a top world country. You agree with me? If you see people from China, their intellectual capacity, they may not be able to speak proper English that like you would speak. But sometimes these people even look beyond the English language. Let me tell you, yes. Sometimes they will think, yeah, you must know how to speak English, you must do that, you must do that. But go to university, there are some lecturers in those universities that can't even express themselves in proper English. But they are working in those universities. Why? Because they have the intellectual capacity, what is needed to be in that position. That's why they are in that position. They can research. They can bring funds for the school. And that's why they are there. So most times it's not about he can't even speak English and he's working. Yes, you that can speak English, what can you do? So don't just base it on, I'm going to work in the UK, I'm not going to study. No. Now, let me tell you, if everybody should channel their energy into working as well, trust me, the UK will stop that work visa before you even know it. If the UK today wants to cut down on net migration, they will do it, regardless of the fact that they don't have the labor force. Both for workers and for students, they will do it. Nothing will stop them. Do you know that the UK have been sponsoring people before now? But I think this Brexit that happened made the care worker visa more available, and then they started recruiting people in that area, and they've been recruiting for a while now. And there's been speculation that they may stop it very soon, because when it was announced, they said it was going to run for only a year and they will stop it. Although those speculations may not be true at the moment, but if they want to stop it tomorrow, trust me, they will stop it tomorrow. In fact, they will stop it today if they want to stop it today. They've been sponsoring people for years. But another question you will ask is, how many people have been sponsored from Africa down to the UK before the care visa came on board? You can count the number of people that came from Africa sponsored. For instance, UK universities, they are big on sponsorship. In fact, UK universities is one of the biggest sectors that sponsor people in the UK. But I tell you what, go to those universities. If you find a black man in those universities, ask them if they were sponsored from their countries or if they were sponsored after they got to the UK. Most of them in those positions were sponsored after they came to the UK and studied in the UK. Some of you will not be like, but studying is not just about getting a job. It's about what exactly? So if you feel studying is not about getting a job, if you feel you want to study to now stay at home, that's fine. That means this video is not for you. I'm talking to people that want to study and get this job actually after studying. Those are the people that this video is meant for. So if you come to my comment and say, well, studying is not for getting jobs alone, of course I know that. But there are some people that really want to focus on studying to get a job at the moment. And those are the people I am referring to in this video. So if your main aim is to study and is to get a job in the UK, one of your targets should be to move to the UK first of all. Go and verify. It is easier to get a job when you are in the UK than when you are outside the UK. Even this care one that is available at the moment, most people that are getting that sponsorship are those that are in the UK already. If you are outside the UK, you have lesser chances. Not like you don't have the chances. Don't get me wrong, you have the chances. But you have lesser chances of getting this job when you are outside the UK than when you are in the UK already. Go online and check care worker sponsorship jobs or care jobs with sponsorship. You will see them specifically writing it on there. This post is only available for those in the UK only. Most of the jobs available now are only available to those in the UK. Now again, people will say, okay, you have to acquire the skills, acquire the knowledge, acquire this. Do you know that people have been acquiring skills for 5 years now, 7 years in this particular field, and they've not gotten the job yet? I know a doctor friend. She's a doctor. Her husband is a doctor. They've been in this career or in this field for years and years. They've been applying for this job even before now that this thing became very popular. They've been applying to get a job as a doctor here, and they've not gotten it. Now the care one came out, they went into care. Based on I'm a doctor, I should be able to get a care job. They didn't get it. Now what did they do? They came here as students and they came to study public health. And what have they done? As they are studying, job had landed. What changed? This is a job they've been applying for years and they've not gotten it. Why do you think most doctors in Nigeria go to Saudi Arabia and then come here? You think it's because they don't know what they are doing? They know what they are doing. They go to Saudi Arabia, get the experience, and then they move to the UK. But those ones are doctors. How about you, that you are not a doctor? One of the ways you can up your game when it comes to getting a job in the UK is to study in the UK. Take it or leave it. And I've also heard some people say things like, I'd rather pay for this job and get the job. Can I remind you that some sponsors' license were revoked because they found out people paid them for the jobs? And those people they sponsored as well, their sponsorships were also revoked and they were sent back to their countries. Remember, some of these sponsors charged whooping amount of money. Some charged about £10,000, £12,000, £15,000 to sponsor people to come and work as care workers in the UK. And now they can't even sponsor, and those they sponsored are on their way back to their countries, if not in their countries already. So imagine if you are taking that money to start studying in the UK. I think you'll be better off. So if you think, well, I'll pay for this job and I'll get the job, you should also be careful about who you are paying, how you are going about it. Because if anything happens, you are on your way back to your country. The only downside to studying in the UK for me is the tuition fee, the stress of having to pay for that huge amount of money. It is not easy, and I understand that. That's the only downside for me. For any other thing you are hearing, scrape all those gists. Even UK universities are fighting with the government and saying we still need these people, we need them, they are important to us, our economy, our universities. So yeah, it's true that they are going to, cut down on students coming to the UK and their dependents. But even if it happens, it's not going to be like a death sentence, or it's not going to be like the country will shut down on students. No, it won't be that way. It will just be, maybe they'll put some things in place, and they'll put some courses on the list that if you are studying this kind of a course, you may not be able to stay back, and if you are studying this other one, you can stay back. And then it's up to you to choose the best course to study now, study the good one, and then make it to the UK. And that gives you more chances of getting the job over someone outside the UK. I know some people don't come for me and say, oh, there are thousands of people in the UK that have not gotten a job yet. I know that as well. But do you think they will not leave all those thousands of people in the UK and now go to those millions outside the UK to now recruit them? So you just have to work it out. Don't put all your eggs in one basket and see how it will work for you. Check out other countries as well and see the one that would favor you. UK is not the only country bubbling now. America is there, Canada, Switzerland, France, New Zealand, Australia. So many of them have even announced new routes for accepting international students and workers. Please do check them out. Yeah, everybody cannot be in the UK. UK is already too full, oh. And some of these countries are actually very beautiful. They are very good, and they even have lesser crime rate than the UK and the United States of America. So I think it's worth checking if you ask me, and it may favor you. So anyone that is telling you not to study in the UK but focus on the job, you may keep focusing on the job, you may keep getting these skills, acquiring these skills. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, the border will close, both for students and workers. You will not remain in your country. You will not even be able to move again. And let me tell you again, there are millions of people in the UK right now that haven't gotten a tier 2 job, and they are hunting. And most of them have studied in the UK, they've acquired skills, they know the system, they understand things about here. So everything you can think of, they are balanced. So you will not say, okay, maybe for this reason, they've not gotten this job. No, most people are even applying for this job with third class and HND. Remember, even universities won't even take you with third class and HND like that. Most of those sponsors will ask you of your results. If you have less than 2.2, they will not sponsor you. And I've seen people, they don't even have any qualification at all. They are asking for this care worker job. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Let's be sincere to ourselves. You would hardly get this job if you don't have qualifications. Even though they've said for the care worker one, you don't need any qualification at all. You will need the qualification. You need the care qualification. You need the university degree. You need everything in place to be able to get this job, to put yourself in front to get this job. No, don't think I'm saying don't apply for the jobs. No, I'm not saying that. To be honest, what I'm saying is, if you're applying for the job, try the school route as well. I know the school route is not easy, of course, but it is worth doing. Ensure you're going for a course in high demand. Now, again, like I said, if you just want to come to the UK to study and go back, that's quite different. But if your plan is to come here and get a job, you need something in a viable area. You also need to up your game, get some skills, put yourself ahead, volunteer, do other things, because getting a job in the UK is beyond just getting a qualification. Getting a qualification is the first step, but then there are other things you have to do as well. Now, they've said that there are many job routes for you. They've got global talent, they've got skilled worker visas. That's very good. Now, let me tell you, for you to get a skilled worker job in the UK, you'd have to get up to 70 points in the point-based system. To make up that 70 points, you have to get up to PhD level in most cases for you to be sponsored in the UK on a skilled worker route. The global talent route as well, I've had people say, well, that's a good one. Of course, it's a good one. Most people that I've seen that have been sponsored on that route are people that have studied in the UK before, or people that studied in America, Canada, and all those top world countries. If you studied in Nigeria or in any country in Africa and you're thinking, I will get a global talent visa as soon as possible, then you need to think again. How many graduates, PhD graduates in the UK right now that are applying for global talent visa? Of course, they will consider them before you. Even though they are sponsoring people from outside the UK, people that are in the UK will be sponsored first before those outside, especially if your degree says studied in the UK. So as beautiful as a work visa is, it is not easy to come by. And as difficult as a student visa is or a study visa is, it is easier to come by Work out on both and see the one that will work for you. If the UK decides tomorrow that they want to cut down on anything, whether they work one or they study one, they can cut down on it. So you being on a work visa doesn't even give you that 100% immunity. They can decide tomorrow, well, we are doing this. The main thing is just to top up your game. Even as you're working, be gaining more skills so that the UK will not be able to do without you. So you guys, that's that about this video. I just said I should drop my own coin, like my people will say. Anaya no febe kirimo. You don't stay in one place to watch masquerade. You move around as well. As the masquerade is moving, you move, right? So you don't stay in one place to stay. I want to jackpa, I want to jackpa, I want to jackpa, and you're not even doing something that relates to jackpa movement. You have to check out other countries. Don't focus on only the UK. Focus on other countries as well. And I wish you guys all the very best. Until I see you again in the next video. Take care, stay safe, and bye.